We're now looking at an extension of lesson 12.5. There is no 12.6 in our book. Sorry about that. This is on page 586. And we'll be doing example 1 and example 2. You'll see those headings, raising a power to a power. That's what we're going to start with. And then we'll also look at raising a product to a power. And it's just an extension of the rules that we've already used, but also a preview of what you'll do in Algebra 1. So when we say we have a power to a power, what we mean is, and you'll see this above where it says example, 4 to the third, that's a power, in parentheses, that whole thing to the second power. A power to a power. What this means is that we're multiplying what's in parentheses by itself 2 times. In other words, 4 to the third times 4 to the third. Multiplying it by itself twice. Now, we see our product of powers where we multiply 2 things with the same base. Think back or look back, what did we do with the exponents? When we have the same base, we keep the base and we add the exponents. 3 plus 3 is 6. Now, how did we get 4 to the 6th from this 4 to the third to the second? Well, the rule here is that we can actually multiply the exponents. When we raise a power to a power, we multiply the exponents. So let's look at a couple examples. This is example 1a, 3 to the negative fourth. Oh, look at that application of a negative exponent to the 5th power. We said we multiply the exponents, which means we take negative 4 times 5. We keep the base, and the exponent is negative 20. Now we can simplify that further. We saw just in our last video, 3 to the negative 20th is the same as 1 over the same base 3 to the positive 20 power. We could even plug that into our calculator, 3 to the 20th power, and see our very large number. This is 1 over 3, 4, 8, 6, 7, 8, 4, 4, 0, 1. So 3,486,784,401. Or we can simply leave it as 1 over 3 to the 20th and keep our lives nice and simple. And 1b, x to the negative second to the negative third. Well, we keep our base the same. And this says we multiply the exponents. So negative 2 times negative 3 is positive 6. And that's as much as we can simplify that, x to the 6th. Our other rule we see in example 2 is a product to a power. So we can also take something like 2w, 2 times w, and take that whole thing to the third power. Again, this would be the same as taking 2 times w times 2 times w times 2 times w. We take this product, 2w, times itself 3 times. And if we were to rearrange this, we could write this as 2 times 2 times 2. Remember that my property of multiplication say that I can rearrange this. And w times w times w. Well, what is 2 times 2 times 2? Well, it's 8. But if I want to write it as a power, it's 2 times itself 3 times, or 2 to the third. And w times w times w, the only way we can simplify that is to write it as a power. W to the third power. So When I multiply or take a product, 2 times w, to a power, I raise each factor to the power, 2 to the third and w to the third. And I simplify. I could rewrite this then as 8w to the third. Let's look at an example where we use multiple rules. Our next example then is 3y to the third to the second. Our product to a power rule, lost it for a second. Our product to a power rule says that I take each factor, 3 and y to the third, to the second power. So 3 to the second power and y to the third to the second power. Now I also have a power to a power. Y to the third to the second, I multiply the exponents. So 3 squared stays as it is, and y, 3 times 2 is 6. Y to the sixth power. One final step, since I know what 3 squared is, I can simplify this to 9, y to the sixth. We will practice some of these in our homework. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we have just wrapped up Chapter 12. Great work, everybody.